Hi everybody, welcome back to Leroy's Kitchen. We're all stuck here in lockdown, so I've decided to cook one of the most complicated curries I know, but probably the most beautiful thing. Now, the most famous Indian curry that you'll get with pork is generally a pork vindaloo, but I'm going to try and sway you towards something which is called a pork Karnataka. Now, a Karnataka is quite a hot curry like a vindaloo, but from a taste point of view, in my opinion, it's better. Yes, you do need a lot of ingredients, but if you do want to make the nicest Karnataka that I know of, do yourself a favour and follow this recipe. Now, I've got here 600 grams of diced pork, which I've actually velveted. Now, if you don't know how to velvet meat, you can go on YouTube and you can find my video. It only goes for a couple of minutes on how to velvet the meat. That's going to make sure that we can cook the curry in about half an hour instead of needing it to be 2 hours, and our meat is going to be beautiful and soft and juicy. Now over here I've got half a tin of diced tomatoes. We're going to need that as well. Now we'll go through all the ingredients here. There are a few. I do have about 30 spices in my spice cupboard so that I can make a wide range of curries, but most of these spices are actually ordinary staples, so hopefully you do have them. I've got here about 20-25 curry leaves. I've got a teaspoon of mustard seeds. I've got a teaspoon of cumin, half a teaspoon of turmeric, half a teaspoon there of hot chili powder. Like I said, this is quite a hot curry. I've got here 3 green chillies, which I've just chopped the head off and sliced in half. They're going to go in whole. Got a couple of tablespoons of butter, a couple of red onions. Also part of the mixture is going to be our garlic and ginger. Now I've got 5 teaspoons of minced garlic here. If you want to use fresh garlic you can, but it's just easier for me at the moment with a busted wrist to use myself minced garlic. The rule of thumb is whatever you use as teaspoons you double for cloves. So 5 teaspoons of minced garlic would mean 10 cloves. Therefore my 2 teaspoons of minced ginger that I also have here would equal 2 knobs of ginger, or 2 thumbs of ginger, double it, 4 thumbs. Pretty easy to work out. Now I have some dry spices in here which we do need to dry roast first. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But our dry roasted spices include a cinnamon stick. We have in here 2 teaspoons of ground coriander, a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of black pepper, a teaspoon again of mustard seeds. Now we do need all of these spices in here. I've also got, what have I got in here? I've got 4 cloves as well that we need. Now I'm going to dry roast them, and then what I'm going to do with them is I'm going to run them through a bullet so that we end up with a nice dry spice mixture, which we're going to use later on. Also part of the recipe, you're going to need about 80 mils of oil. I like to use olive oil, but if you just want to use canola or vegetable oil, that's fine. And a fresh bunch of coriander, which we're going to use at the end to serve it with some sour cream. All right, let's get on to dry roasting the spices.
Pause.
Okay, so I'm dry roasting those spices now. I've just got them in a pan here, just over some heat. No oil in the pan. We don't want any oil in here. We are dry roasting. Going to do that for about 2 to 2.5 minutes, or until the aroma of the spices starts to fill the room. So you actually dry roast them until you can smell them. Alright, so my toasted spices have been put through the blender, the spice grinder, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tip them into our pork. So all the spices there in the pork, I'm going to give that a good mix, and then I'm going to pop the oil in the pan and then the pork. Okay, before we move on, I did leave a couple of ingredients out of screen to start with. I've actually got here 200 mils of vegetable stock, which we'll need, and also some tamarind paste or tamarind puree. We will need a big heap tablespoon of that as well. Alright, the oil and the pork and our dry spice mixture has gone into the pan. Just going to give that just 60 seconds or so just to start the cooking process off again on the pork, and then we'll pop in the rest of the ingredients. Alright, in goes the tamarind paste. Give that a quick stir. Alright, and now in with the rest. Got our chilies, curry leaves, onions, rest of our spices. They just all go in. Butter, all at once. Just going to cook this off for about 2 to 3 minutes and then we'll finish it off. Alright, a couple of minutes has passed cooking that. Now in with the ginger and the garlic. We'll cook that off for about another 2 minutes and then we'll pop in our tomato mixture and stock and then let the curry simmer off. Alright, so 3 minutes has passed. The aromas in here are unbelievable. It's now time for our half a tin of diced tomatoes and our 200 mils of vegetable stock. Now you can use water, I just think vegetable stock gives it a far better flavour. I'm going to give this a mix, and once mixed up, what we want to do is we want to cook this not till it boils, we want to cook it until the oils start to separate from the rest of the juice, and you'll be able to see that clearly in the pan. Okay, not sure if you can see it on the camera here, but the oils have started to separate after about 8 minutes of cooking on full blast. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the heat down and I'm going to simmer this only for 20 minutes. We don't need to simmer it for 2 hours like a traditional Karnataka. Because we velveted the meat, we only need to simmer for 20 minutes. Come back and see what it looks like when it's finished. Okay, our Karnataka's done. I've popped it in a beautiful little curry dish to serve. Serve with heaps of sour cream, some crunchy bread. I like Turkish bread actually. I think it goes really well with this. And just some rice there. I've got some caramelized onion rice. Now just to finish off the Karnataka, I've taken the chilies out. Just going to put a good handful of coriander in there. Let it wilt away under the heat. It's time to eat. Hope you enjoy. Bye for now.